Hi Leo, welcome to your mid-February 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So on February 11th, we are having a new moon at 23 degrees of Aquarius. This is kind of significant for you because Aquarius is your opposite sign. Some of you around that 23 degree mark, sun or rising, may feel like, this will definitely be the most powerful for you. And this is an issue of relationships. That's going to be the house that it's in, the seventh house. So, that's the theme. But don't think that it's just your significant other. It could be clients. So perhaps this is a new way, if you work for yourself, that you're going to attract clients to you. The first card I got was a Hierophant, and that can sometimes connect with marriage. So go figure. And we have the Lover's card. Okay. Interesting. I might have to read this as a relationship issue. The heart of the matter is the Hierophant, and this connects with tradition, including marriage. It's a card of Taurus, so a Taurus person could be in your thoughts at this time, could be playing a role in your life in some way. And so in this particular scenario, let me just bring in the past position. So we have the past position, the Queen of Wands. And I always say this should be Leo, not Sag. I've read Sag, but she's got a sunflower, so which is it? But it's fire energy because it's Wands. And it's feminine. The feminine meets the masculine. So a female Leo, okay? How I see this is that there can be a situation where you are perhaps, let's say Queen can be the mother. Let's say you stayed at home and you've recently gone back into the workforce. If you're with obviously I'm talking about a woman, because if you're with a traditional man, that might cause friction. That person might not want you to be doing that. A similar thing is if you are, in the workplace, this could be a situation. I see the Hierophant as maybe a more spiritual influence that has left you feeling as though you're torn between your spiritual life and your professional life in some way. Or sometimes I see the Hierophant in a hierarchy like a corporation, a corporate environment where the people are constantly trying to get ahead at to the higher echelon. But also at the same time, they must conform to the constraints of that corporate culture. And that can lead a fire sign to feel like they're selling out, to feel like they're not an individual, they're just like a cog in the wheel. I think in any kind of, maybe even just a government type of a situation, that could happen as well. And you might be promoted to supervisor, and that's kind of placating your Leo ego, but you still don't feel like you're doing the right thing. Or maybe it's not that you don't feel like you're doing the right thing. It's just that it's creating further complications, because we have here as the higher message the Five of Swords. This can indicate treachery, especially on the verbal level with swords. So slander, gossip. And I always see, when I see those people in the background, I always see like the flying monkeys, or the the people at the water cooler, the coworkers who are really toxic. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you were being a diva, and if that's what the Queen of Wands was, if you were like throwing your weight around and you happened to get a position of authority, you may have alienated those people, because the Five of Swords can be an empty victory. And this is a philosophical card. So it might be like that you're, a promotion went to your head, or, but I honestly feel that a lot of times it can be that the people around you are the haters. So, I guess what I would say about the Five of Swords as a spiritual card is, did you, um, did you get to where you were by playing fair and being respectful of others? If you did, then this card may be like saying, watch the people that you trust, because they might not be what they seem. And I always dislike saying those kinds of things because I don't want to create paranoia. But I mean, it stands to reason that sometimes this certainly can happen, where people put faith in those who would betray them. What crosses you is the Lover's card, and this can be that sense of the person that you're with is not who you think that they are. So let's talk about this from a marriage perspective again. The Five of Swords can be that person is trying to control you while they're out doing what they're doing. And that happens quite a bit, let's face it, where somebody, they want other people to be at home while they're doing what they're doing. And so the Lover's card in the challenge position says to me that something is wrong in that relationship, that there is not that sense of intimacy. This is the card that kind of challenges that. And I mean, I know this is going to make people cringe. If there's an issue of infidelity with the Five of Swords, it could be that if you are a workaholic and that other person didn't have you around, that they sought out another party. And I can just hear people yelling at the computer screen and saying, how dare you justify that? I'm not justifying anything. I'm just explaining what can happen and why people do what they do. That doesn't give that other person a complete pass, So looking at it from that point of view. Now, sometimes it can be that there's no real intimacy, that there never was. So maybe it was just sex and it was never really that deep connection. Maybe you have a fear of commitment. Hello. If the Hierophant is a card of marriage, maybe your independence is keeping you from doing that. When I say marriage, it sounds like I'm stuck in the 1950s, because I know a lot of people do live together. I am not married, and I've lived together with my partner for many years. So I just am trying to find one word that I don't have to keep saying every permutation of that type of relationship. But perhaps you are married to your career in a sense, and you just don't have the time for that, but you want it. Well, you have to make time for things that you want. There's no other way. And you also don't have to have the kind of marriage that your parents had if you fear it because of that. I think a lot of fire signs who had parents that didn't have good marriages, they fear marriage or the equivalent because they think that it's going to automatically be like that, and it doesn't have to. You can choose the type of relationship you have. What's coming in is a Temperance card. 1 foot in water, 1 foot on land, kind of like moderating your life. When I think of water, I think of the spiritual, but I also think of creativity and emotional nourishment in the form of, connecting with other people in an emotional kind of way with relationships that are meaningful to you. So it doesn't have to be just the spiritual in the, the sense of meditating or praying or whatever it is that you do. It can be something where you're tapping into the invisible realms, and that involves creativity and also allowing your emotions to kind of flow freely. I also think that in choosing a relationship, you have to be very careful about that physical passion and really look to your emotional connection with that individual. Don't allow the physical to overtake anything else. It's balance. And the outcome is the Ace of Wands. Exciting new beginnings, feeling that sense. And by the way, the Temperance is connected to Sag, so maybe it's a relationship with a Sagittarius. But there's a feeling of passion. There's a feeling of, I think, purpose, a feeling of really knowing who you are. And this may be like kind of something that you have been dealing with in recent years, especially last year when you had the North Node transiting Cancer in your 12th house, Leo. That idea of the spiritual taking front, being front and center versus, just the material concerns. And what does that mean, when the spiritual has a lot of importance? Well, sometimes it can be, I think, with the 12th house, karmic situations that arise that show you what the pattern has been. And then new opportunities in that same area. So perhaps this is something that is going to take place. Timing-wise, this can be around the equinox in March 20th. Perhaps that's when everything will start to take off for you. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm primarily an astrologer, and you can find out more about my readings when you click the link below. Take care. Bye.